Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at another Rebirth figure from Mattel. This is the second item that I got from Walmart that I hinted at in the last review, which is the Mosasaurus. And I'm really excited to take a closer look at this one, and I think it's definitely really important to have right now because of the movie, which, like I said in the last review, at the point of this recording, I already saw the movie, and I loved it. And I'm really excited to take a look at this figure. So today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the Jurassic World Rebirth Rumble and Rampage Distortus Rex. So here we have it. We have the new big dinosaur that's in Rebirth, other than the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus and all that. But we got another big dinosaur, which is kind of portrayed, or I guess advertised, as a villain dinosaur. But for those who have not seen the movie, sorry, a little bit of a spoiler alert here, but it really did not feel like a villain dinosaur to me, which is not a bad thing. It just felt like something very unexpected, like an unexpected obstacle for the human characters in the film, kind of similar to how the Giganotosaurus was in Dominion. It wasn't really the villain, it was just another large obstacle for our characters to get through. But a very fun one at that. I enjoyed its sequence. I enjoyed this animal. It's a very interesting one. So we have our first mutant dinosaur in the Jurassic franchise. And I don't know if this is supposed to be... I think this is supposed to be a failed attempt at a T-Rex. Maybe some hybridization went on in here. But anyways, this is a failed or a defected T-Rex clone, which kind of made it all weird and ugly and just... basically just a mutant T-Rex, a failed T-Rex, which is really cool. Screams Jurassic, in my opinion. You know, some kids, you know, especially me as a kid, and maybe some of the older Jurassic Park toy movies I would watch as a kid, I can see, you know, these characters are on an island, they're running away from all these different dinosaurs, Velociraptor, Pteranodon, and they run into a T-Rex, right? Just classic Jurassic stuff. And all of a sudden, they come across a mutant dinosaur, a failed genetic experiment. Or in this case, a failed T-Rex clone. That's just all science and very Jurassic to me. That is cool, and I love that. And who would have thought, both in just the movie standards, but also in toy form, who would have thought we would actually get a four-armed dinosaur, a six-limbed dinosaur, you know, overall. So that is insane that we finally have a mutant dinosaur in the franchise, and that is very cool. So as you can see here, apart from my rambling of excitement over this new figure, we got the figure in hand. Now, interestingly too, I was not planning on getting this figure, which is a big surprise. I was actually kind of hoping that maybe I could probably wait until a Hammond collection will come out, just so then it would be a bit more movie accurate. You got all that articulation. So I just kind of thought that maybe I could probably wait. Yes, it's not confirmed that we're going to get a Distortus Rex from the Hammond collection, but I feel like it's a newer design. It's new enough that we should be able to get one. It's like I feel like it's more likely we're going to get a Hammond collection Distortus Rex more than a Hammond collection T-Rex from Rebirth, if that makes sense. So I had my eyes set on waiting for a Hammond collection. But yet again, that was before I saw the movie, and after I saw the movie, that kind of impacted my mind a little bit, like, maybe I should get this, because I really loved the Distortus Rex in the film. And not only that, my siblings were kind of, you know, convincing me that maybe I should just get this figure because it's a brand new dinosaur in the film. And even if there is a Hammond Collection one, it won't be for like another like few years or so. So, yeah, I guess it's probably good to have one in hand until a Hammond collection arrives. But majority of the time, I think I was just confused. I mean, not confused. What's the word here? I was definitely convinced to get this figure thanks to the movie. So, yeah, a little bit of history there. But enough rambling. Let's get on to the packaging here. Typical colors for the packaging. It's electronic, which is really cool. You got the Rumble and Rampage Distortus Rex with the Rebirth logo and a really cool render of the D-Rex right there, which is short for Distortus Rex, looking very cool. The Mattel logo, I still can't believe this image is on a Jurassic Park toy packaging. That's that's insane. The entire backdrop is the classic jungle of St. Hubert, which is the name of the island, by the way. Spoiler alert, if any of you did not see the movie. It says, "Try me," right here. It's got some cool thrashing action. And then it's a pretty good size figure, too. On the back, we got the facts up information. The others in the lineup, all of these I already have and I already reviewed, so go check those out if you guys haven't, if you want. And you can see a cool little render of the figure right there, looking menacing. And then you can see it's electronic, the roar signal right there, the rage and roar, slash attack. So yeah, this thing was a beast in the movie, for the amount of time it was in anyway. It's on part of the land, as you can see. So yeah, this figure, I can already tell you, is not 100% accurate to what we see in the film. That's usually what goes on with the mainline toys, but it is, it gets the main consensus, it gets the main point down of what the figure is. Excuse me for that. Yeah, overall, I think it looks really cool, and I can't wait to get a closer look at it. So, enough about the packaging. Let's go ahead and crack this figure out of the box. Alrighty, and here we have the Distortus Rex out of the package. And wow, this dinosaur right here, man, just taking a look at it out of the box, where I can just take a full look at everything, is definitely a very odd looking dinosaur. It's still crazy, like I said before, how this is a Jurassic Park toy. It's based off a dinosaur from the film. Just a weird six-limbed animal. And it's weird to see a dinosaur with 4 arms. It definitely screams mutant, or just a failed experiment to me, especially with a really big, deformed looking head right here. But taking a look at the figure, it's a really great one. It's a good size too. It's not like overly big. I mean, I'm pretty sure once we get an official Hammond collection of this guy eventually, I'm sure it's gonna be a tad bit bigger, possibly longer limbs, and just overall much more of a towering beast that's more compatible with other Hammond collection and human figures. But overall, this is a really great toy just for the mainline purposes. This is definitely something I would definitely enjoy having as a kid. If, let's say, Rebirth came out when I was a kid, I think I would definitely be very interested in this dinosaur, and especially having it as a figure. Man, I'd have so many fun adventures having this really weird, deformed, mutant dinosaur running around the island, killing other dinosaurs and killing human characters, flipping cars over. It'd be really cool. But just taking a look at the overall figure right here, it's really cool. It captures the overall look of the Distortus Rex from the film very nicely. Not perfectly. There are some things that are kind of inaccurate, but again, that's to be expected because these toys are always based off of earlier designs in the film, like concept art, not based off of the final designs that we see in the film. Like, for example, the head shape, at least where the mouth is, would have been a bit more T-Rex-like in terms of the mouth shape, like your classic T-Rex, shape of the mouth and all that. The tiny T-Rex arms right here maybe are just a tad bit longer, I guess. The length of the figures are pretty well done. And then the hands, the fingers probably would have been a bit larger. That's just me though, but I think probably one of the bigger things that are kind of inaccurate is that this dinosaur is missing a dew claw in the sculpt, whereas the one in the film, based off of the renders, it has a dew claw. So it's a bit unfortunate that that one does not have a dew claw. But anyways, this figure does look pretty good, and it does capture the look of the Distortus Rex very nicely, in my opinion. It's got amazing sculpt, by the way. Definitely one of the best of the larger mainline figures. Obviously, the Hammond collections are always going to be top-notch, but when it comes to a mainline figure, this one is actually really good. If we just take a look at starting off with the head, you see where the big little bump is. Really nice texturing in the skin right here. Very interesting they didn't give the bump right here like more of a smoother texture, like the dome of a xenomorph or even the Titanosaurus, except it's just more kind of like the rough, bumpy skin texture. I think the one in the film has a bit more of a smoother texture on the dome right here, instead of what the figure provides. But as you can see, it has a lot of nice wrinkles in the skin, just a lot of cool rough skin textures, some little bumps kind of sticking out of the head right here, very interesting. And then here on the face, you get the really, very small, squished T-Rex looking face, because when you look at the actual render of this animal and see it in the film, you can definitely tell that this is supposed to be a failed T-Rex clone, because it's just deformed, and you can just tell how it was supposed to be a T-Rex, and somehow it got messed up. You can kind of see that in this figure. It's a lot better in the actual one in the film, but you can see that just the squished in T-Rex sculpt in the face. They got the little nostrils, just some more skull detail. You can see a lot more of the cool texturing around the mouth, and some nice scales here around the face. You get the little ear hole right there, and the eyes are looking pretty nice as well. And the eye has a circular pupil, which is accurate to the one in the film, because it's supposed to be a T-Rex, so it's going to have a circular pupil. And then here at the lower jaw, nice amount of scales right there. Some cool little line texturing along the mouth, edge of the mouth right here. Then the inside of the mouth, just some nice basic texturing, nothing too detailed. But the tongue is very nicely sculpted as well. And the teeth look really great as well, nice and sharp with that nice rubbery insert, so it's not painted, they're not going to get rubbed off, and they look really nice too. I think they're pretty accurate. I know they're kind of interlocking. That's always a classic trademark thing that the Jurassic franchise always does with their dinosaurs. But the teeth look really great though, overall. Here around the neck, got some really nice wrinkles right here around the neck area, and you can just see how massive this part of the head is. Just a big hunk of meat right here. It really does look like there is something literally wrapped around a T-Rex, causing it to look like what it looks right here. So I like that. And as I said, a lot of great detail up there as well. Here around the body, got some really nice stretch marks in the skin right here. Like you can see this being like flappy pieces of skin that kind of move and flex as the animal is moving. And a little bit of some muscle definition right here too. I'm pretty sure the skeletal structure is probably super weird on this dinosaur. But anyways, really nice skin textures and stretch marks right here along the shoulder area. And then we move on to the body. As you can see, just some more nice texturing in the body right here. And some more stretch marks right here along the legs, which is pretty nice. And here at the top, just some more of that famous, rough elephant-looking texture along the back. And that pretty much continues all the way down here. So you can see it very prominently right here in this area, and it pretty much just continues all the way down to the tip of the tail. So there's not really any scales present on this dinosaur except for the face, which is pretty interesting. And then we move on to the larger forelimbs right here, which give it kind of like a gorilla-looking stance as it walks on its knuckles. Though I've even seen it in the film kind of walk on its hands, kind of like how this hand is positioned. So maybe it just kind of changes in between stances, using its hands to either walk on them with their palms face down, or they're walking on their fingers like a gorilla. I thought that was interesting. But as you can see in the arm, nice, basic amount of muscle definition, nothing too major, but it is there. And just some nice skin wrinkles along the arm right here, which looks really nice. Yeah, just skin wrinkles, not scales. And then here on the hands, looking pretty nice with the big claws and the scoots along the fingers. Just a nice little lined texturing, pretty classic in these Jurassic Park dinosaurs. And then here on the tiny little forelimbs right here, the T-Rex ones, pretty nicely done as well. Not a whole lot. There's a bit of muscle definition there, and some more kind of like the lined skin texture designed on here. And then the really long fingers for these 2 digits, much longer than how they are on a T-Rex. And the claws are looking nice as well. The limbs right here are made of a softer-ish plastic, not really quite rubbery, but they're a bit softer. See some more of the wrinkles right there. Here on the underside, just some more of the basic, smoother lined texture, and that pretty much continues all the way down to the tip of the tail. And then moving on to the legs, really nice wrinkles here in the skin, some skin folds, which looks really nice. and a lot of great muscles kind of flexing through the skin right here as well. Just overall more nice detail throughout the legs, and then the feet look nice as well with the scoots along the toes, and the claws are nicely sculpted. Same with the underside of the feet. Now, cool thing as well, just like the Spinosaurus, there's a separate plastic insert for the underside of the feet, which is molded in this dark plastic, so it looks like the toe claws are painted when actually they're not. I really love that. I think this is much better than actually painting the claws and then getting mad at Mattel for the claws not being painted, because it captures the look of painted claws, and plus these are not painted, they're molded in this color, so these are not going to get scuffed no matter how many times you make this dinosaur stomp across the table. Anyways, on the other side, it's pretty much the same as the one previously. A lot of great detail in the skin all over this cool and very weird looking dinosaur. This limb right here, pretty much the same as the other one, except the wrist is in a different position. That's mostly due to the action feature, but as you can see, it's nice and curved. Almost looks like it's gonna grab someone like it did in the film a couple of times, but nice amount of detail. Also interesting too, the wrists on the hands right here are actually a separate, actually a molded piece of plastic. So none of this is painted, it's molded in this brown plastic and attached to the arm. So the cool thing is, even though the claws aren't painted, none of this is gonna get scuffed. So you can literally have this thing like really trash other dinosaurs and human characters by swiping at them, stomping against the ground, and it's not gonna get all scuffed. So that is awesome. I love that Mattel is doing that. That is a huge plus in my opinion. But yeah, overall, really great sculpt on this figure. It pretty much captures the look of the dinosaur mutant in the film, and just, yeah, it looks really good. I love the sculpt in this one. The colors are pretty nice as well. Definitely not the color scheme I was expecting when this guy was rumored or leaked to be in this film. I thought it was gonna be like some sort of like drab gray color, just because it's kind of like a failed dinosaur. It's not gonna have a really striking color scheme. But no, it actually has a light color scheme. It has like this light color with some dark markings and a light colored underbelly, so it's very interesting. I think even the one in the film, based on the renders, even has some like oranges in it too. But the toy kind of captures that roughly. It's not perfect. Obviously, if you want perfect, you're gonna get the Hammond Collection one eventually, maybe, hopefully. But the colors look really nice. It's primarily molded in this light beige color, maybe a bit of like a yellowish tone to it as well, but it looks really nice. And you got some really cool dark brown splotching on the top right here. It pretty much covers the entire top half of the big bulbous head, and then through the back, and it kind of sprinkles down just to about the hips, above the hips, and then just kind of sprinkles down across the head and across the body, as you can see right here. So it kind of has like that naturalistic look to it. A little bit of a darker, even darker tone of a brown than what's on the body right here, surrounding the eye socket, which kind of brings out the eye a little bit. It highlights the craziness of this head, I would say. And then the orange eye pops as well. The teeth are molded in a lighter beige white color, and the inside of the mouth is that famous pink fleshy color, which looks amazing. And it's a glossy too. It has like that wet saliva look, and you even got a little bit of that brown, that same brown in the body, going along the lower part of the front limbs, the larger limbs. That this beige color kind of fades into this brown, which looks really nice too. And the claws look like they're painted, so that it feels a bit more complete. Now on the underside, starting from the jaw, is like this white color, and that pretty much goes along the neck, it touches the two tinier arms, and it pretty much goes all the way to where this articulated segment is in the body. So it doesn't continue all the way down, which would have been awesome if it did, but you know, it is what it is. It does overall look pretty well painted in my opinion, because there isn't a whole lot going on, but it still kind of captures the look of this really weird and interesting dinosaur. So yeah, the colors are pretty good, and the sculpt is awesome, like I said. So articulation, there isn't a whole lot on here, guys. Pretty much similar to other larger figures, because these figures are all about action features, because these ones are more kids toys than collectibles in some way, but hey, I still collect them. So this arm right here can ratchet forward and backwards, so it can go forward about that far, can go forward about just till you hit the body, because the body's kind of thick and it kind of prevents the limbs from moving back. And the wrist can also rotate. This arm is primarily tied to the action feature, but it does have elbow articulation. So you could even have it hold up a human figure and chomp on it on its head. Maybe kind of recreate that scene where it chomped on Martin Krebs. So yeah, you got some elbow articulation right there, and you got some wrist articulation as well, though this one is a bit more stiffer, but I'm not gonna mess with that one. Then that's pretty much it for the arms. And then the legs right here on a ratchet joint that can move pretty much only two clicks. So it's got one click here, another one there, and then another one there to where it reaches the body, and that's pretty much it. Same thing can kind of go with this one. Let's see, actually only one on this one, so because it's already reaching the back end of the tail right here, so not a whole lot. A bit more, actually no, it can move forward, so I guess it does have 2 clicks for each of the legs, but at least it's a bit more than the Spinosaurus. And then each of the feet can rotate as well, which you obviously have to rotate them when you get out of the package, because they have to rotate it in order to fit it in the package. And then even the tip of the tail has an articulated joint, but obviously I don't care about that. Almost forgot, here you got the scan code on the foot as well. The arms right here have no articulation whatsoever, at least you can't pose it. I guess no articulation in terms of posing it, but they can each move individually, and they're very loose. Not loose that they're gonna fall off, but I think that's just the way the figure is made. But that's kind of cool. It's got 2 somewhat movable arms, because I think each arm can move individually, which is super weird for a Jurassic Park dinosaur. But yeah, it's they can just move, but I think it's all due to the action feature that when it shakes, the limbs kind of shake too, so as if they're moving, but you know, it is what it is. Now let's get on to action features. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on, which is really cool how this one has a switch. Some big dinosaurs don't actually have this, so at least it's a good way to save the batteries. I'm not too big on the electronic sound effects. They're cool to have when you have them at first and when you do reviews on them, but once they die out, I don't really care to put the batteries back in, so once they're gone, they're gone. I just care about the figure itself. But anyways, I turn it on, and let's take a look at the action features. There's 2 different features going on here. First, you got one with the tail, which pretty much is like primal attack. You can move the tail from side to side. So you can move it or twist it to the right, and the front half of the body here kind of moves to the left. So kind of like a rotating action, but the primary function is with this arm right here, which once you do that, the arm sticks up and you can swing it down. So you can like hit the ground, swing against human figures, and yeah, that is really, really, really interesting how you can just make this just whack. And there's the sound effects too. So there's a button right here that if you just press it, the whole table is shaking when it does that. So you push the button, the head goes up and down, and it chomps its jaw. And you can continuously do that. And then once you push the button, it makes sound effects, and the head just kind of shakes, almost like it's rampaging. I always thought it was gonna be some weird like little twitch gimmick that it has, because it's like a deformed, mutated dinosaur. It's not perfect, so it has like some really weird things happening with its body. That's weird twitches and whatnot, but I didn't really see that in the film. I think it's just part of the cool action feature, saying this is a savage, brutal dinosaur that even though it's deformed, it's running around killing things when it needs to. So, which is really cool, because this animal was more portrayed as a real, normal, natural animal than a savage monster like, let's say, the Indominus Rex was. So that was pretty interesting. I mean, just because it's deformed doesn't mean it's gonna act like a savage. It's gonna live its life how it's supposed to. But anyways, let's take a look at those sound effects again. That's cool. Let me take my camera off the table so that you can see it shake without shaking the table. So as you can see, that's all it really does. very interesting. It's a very interesting gimmick. But yeah, overall, it's an awesome figure. I definitely love it. So let's go ahead and take a look at some comparisons real quick. Alrighty, so here we have the Distortus Rex compared with a human figure. I just have a plain Owen figure. And yeah, it's a larger dinosaur. Now, the size is not accurate at all to what we see in the film. This dinosaur is huge. It is massive. And this thing towers over every single other large carnivore. Even the Spinosaurus, which before this guy came along, was considered being the biggest because of the tall sail and all that, which is pretty interesting. So I guarantee this figure is going to be much bigger once we get it in the Hammond collection, if we get it in the Hammond collection. But overall, I think it captures the overall feel in terms of the human form because it's bigger, but it's basically the same size as like your Spinosaurus and T-Rex, so at least it'll be somewhat of a fair comparison. You're fighting it against other dinosaurs, but you know, I just care about the figure itself. But overall, I like how they do make it seem like a bigger animal regardless. And another thing too, it can even hold human figures, kind of. Not the best, as not like the Indominus Rex, but at least it can hold people, which is really cool. So yeah, that's cool. I really love that too. And then finally, here we have the Distortus Rex compared with the Spinosaurus, the Rebirth version, and the Indominus Rex. This is the Dino Trackers one. And yeah, all three of these look really cool together. The Spinosaurus is obviously the biggest because of the sail, which is obviously not accurate to how it is in the movie. But overall, just for having a toy, I think these sizes work really nice together. It gives you a bunch of options as to picking, you know, if you were a kid, picking which large carnivore you want to terrorize your humans with for the day. You know, you just have a huge lineup between a Spinosaurus, a mutant dinosaur, a hybrid dinosaur, and then other classics like the Giga and the T-Rex. So that was really cool. This is something I would die for, guys, when I was a kid. I would totally love to have a lineup of giant carnivores to choose from each day when I'm playing with my toys. So, but as a collector, it is just as awesome just to have all of these displayed next to each other on one shelf, because it's just super cool to look at. But anyways, all three of these look really great together. So everyone, that's about to wrap it up for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really love this figure. It's an awesome one, but overall I really love it. The colors, the detail, the action features are really fun as well. So overall, just a really nice figure. And I probably say I recommend picking this one up just because it's a new dinosaur introduced in the franchise. It's a new one in this new movie. It's a really unique looking design. And I just think it's really cool. I really do love it. I loved it in the film. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this review, everyone. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next video.